Hey, welcome. All my right thinkers, thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in my lab. And yeah, I'm in the book, we on Egyptian Yoga, Part 2, Religion of Thebes. Let's talk about the god Nerberdjer and his qualities. That's what the attributes of what makes God God. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them, don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise, follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to my be true. We're going to talk about now Nerberdjer, the myth of Nerberdjer, Amun Ptah explained. We're going to go down that rabbit hole, I call it. I'm going to give you some lessons about the Nerberdjer and introduce you to the concepts of, we got the Sekhmet Basra. That's the female goddess. Where'd you get a load of her? All right, let's go. Now, in the creation story is involving the Assyrian mystery. Again, these are myths. The Asar assumes the role of the Khepri and Tem. He's the physical, spiritual in the flesh. He's God in the flesh, so to speak. He represents the spirit. Nerberdjer says, I am the creator. Now, this is where y'all got God's words from. This is one the concept that y'all stole and really misinterpreted. He says, Nerberdjer saith, I am the creator of what hath come into being. And I, myself, came into being under the form of the god Khepri. And I came into being in primeval time. I had union with my hand, and I embraced my shadow in a love embrace. He was satisfying himself with himself. Self-masturbation, okay? Pleasure, self-pleasure. If you can't love the one you want, love the one you with. And if you by yourself, my man said it best. The comedian George Wallace, he said, I think I'm bisexual. They said, well, when you think that? He said, because last time I had sex, I was by myself. So the concept, you can be by yourself and still enjoy yourself. All right. But he says here, watch this. I poured seed into my mouth. I got a picture in this book. We show you where he in the yoga position, where he's doing his own self. Man don't need to be able to do that. So what he's saying, he poured seed into his mouth, and I sent forth from myself issue in the form of the gods. He sneezed out, shu, and coughed up or threw up tefnut. Shu represents air. Tefnut represents moisture, water from above. Those are two qualities and elements that man need to essentially to survive. So God was preparing this place that we call earth for us before we even got here. That's being conscious. God is spirit and consciousness. He knew all that. So he laid everything out for us. Okay? Sure, tough nut, air, moisture. And he says, I came into being in the form of Khepri. That's a scarab beetle. When they come out full grown, ready to eat dung. They're dung beetles. They're ready to go do work. Okay? But while the dung beetles are inside the ball of dung, the scarab pushes it, following the sun path to keep the sun rays on it until it dies out. Okay, so and I was the creator of what came into being. I formed myself out of the primeval matter, and I formed myself into primeval matter. My name is Asar. Asar, Wasar, everybody got a different name for him, but it's the concept and it's the myth. So everybody changed the story. Like a fish story. The fish story started out as a goldfish. By the time it got around, it came back. That fish is a whale. Okay, so understand, yeah, it swells. Okay, we put 20 on 10, meaning add more to it. In other words, lying. Put little something on it. Lying. All right? All right, let's talk about Nerberdjer. There's 4 phases that they're going to give you, that they're going to break down for you. Right here, you see it says Nerberdjer, Amun, WRIGHT, and over here, you got Ptah. And these are all symbols representing each aspect of the all-encompassing God. See if I can break that down for you and make a little more sense. Let's talk about this. And he says here, I was alone. Now this is God speaking. Not the God that y'all say, had no other gods before me. Or that. No, he says, no, he ain't beat for that. That's the egoistic God that y'all follow. My God says, I was alone, for the gods and goddesses, meaning elements, were not yet born. He hadn't created them yet. Shu and Tufnu hadn't been born yet. So before then, and I had emitted from myself, I have yet emitted from myself Shu nor Tufnu. He was there by himself, nothing else. I brought into my own mouth the seed of sperm. No, excuse me, not that one. Excuse me. I brought out my own mouth Heka. That means words of power, utterance, bringing stuff to existence. Tuh said, and uttered himself into existence. All right. So, and I forthwith came into being under the form of things which were created under the form of Capria. Okay, the scarab beetle. Symbolically, they understood what and how he was, and they used him to recognize a new beginning. All right. So Nerberdjer is considered. They got the hieroglyph. Okay. This is the word. This is the hieroglyph for each one. Okay, you see each one got a hieroglyph. Ra's got the simplest one. His is real simple. And Ptah also had a real simple one. But they didn't need to be complicated, just need to make a point. Okay? And the Nerberdjer, it means all-encompassing divinity, eternity, and the absolute. In Indian, they call God the absolute, the all. Okay, so everybody had a concept of this God, but the thing was all the attributes that make him God, everybody had the same concept. How about that? Okay. Then, now let's break the Nerberdjer down to 3 aspects. Amun. Amun spelled A-M-N. No vowels. When we break it down, you get the O, throw the vowels in, we later on put the U, the O, and the E in there. All right. At the end of prayer, it's the E. Okay. When they want to speak about the city, it's the O. When they want to talk about the hidden one, it's the U. Hope you understand that. So the name Amun, A-M-U-N, or better known as A-M-N, if you want to do it right. That means the definition of, you see here, the hieroglyph. I don't read many of them, but I know, okay, a few here. See this here? That's God. That's that's the netter. That's what represents netter. Then next to that, you got a block. That's peace. Then you got water, a little sign here. Then you got a guy sitting in the mold. Then you got the guy behind him. Now, I don't know if that's set, but okay. Every sign and everything has a sign to me represents something. All right? And behind him is the Hotep sign. So God, Amun, is the hidden essence of creation. And these all saying words. Okay, I just read it to you that way. But now the breakdown is hidden essence of creation, witnessing consciousness. Amun was considered the witness of all consciousness. All seeing eye was his eye. Why? He's the one that you go to when it's all said and done. That's the hidden one that's inside you. But he's the total witness. He sees all. That's why. And next one, you got Ra. You see a sun disk with a man sitting. Okay. You see it, all of them, they got the little man behind them. Okay. You see the man there, the man there, and the man there. And this man, he ain't sitting. Okay. He's raising up. He's holding up heaven and earth. Earth under his feet, heaven is up there. That's what Shu's doing when he's separating heaven and earth, a.k.a. Gab and Nuke, because they was in a love embrace. So now they got another story. I'm not get into that right now. Let me get this lesson. All right. But the Ra, his sign is the sun disk with the dot in the middle and the man sitting behind him. It represents the mind, this, and the body working together as one, aka the life force of creation. He put the sun there to show you power, okay? It's eternal. It don't change. Ra. So everybody got Ra in them, okay? The next one you got over here is Ptah. You see the bracket right here? That's heaven. That's earth. That's Nuke. That's Gab. This is Shu. He's separating heaven from earth. At one time, heaven and earth was in a love embrace. Like this. Ra said, I need that nonsense broken up, okay? And when they separated them, Gab was in midstream. Okay, you ever got caught in midstroke? And when they moved up, you were still hard. Y'all call it obelisk. Or, y'all call it obelisk. That's Gab's penis. It represents Gab's penis. Okay, the earth, penis trying to get to heaven. Okay, all symbolically. But yeah, Ptah, he represents heaven and earth. That's the physical universe. Okay? He uttered himself into existence, but these passages are all points to the fact while the name of the Supreme Being has changed under the different priesthoods and different cultures, they are merely just different expressions of the same principles, which what Mayat represents, and everything from God in this form is all about principles, concepts, and aspects, symbolisms, and the teachings, which even use the same wording. Therefore, there is no discontinuity or confusion within the theology that they represent, the myths that they teach. More importantly, the last passage reminds us that all of the names and forms are merely outward expression of the same supreme being we call Nerberdjer, or the all. In its physical manifestation is Ptah, okay? Nerberdjer, who signifies the all-encompassing, the Trinity as manifestation of Nerberdjer. You have the Trinity, that's what Amun Ra Ptah represents from the Nerberdjer. And therefore, it should be understood, is to be understood, as androgynous and primordial, and which arose all names and forms, because all God and goddesses are all God's one creation. The other important passage is what? States that he, God, brought himself and thereby into creation, into being. How? By the just uttering of his own name. Get it? The idea of the primeval utterance, words of power, Heka, which emerges out of what? The hidden regions of existence and into the realm of what we know to be time and space. It is taken up here by the priest we know as Asar. That's the spirit in the physical form, first man. He represents spirit in human form. His wife, Aset, represents intuitive knowledge, wisdom. Together, they make us aspirants, offsprings who want to be what? Their best selves. We're born to be our best self, reach our full potential. Is becoming Haru. That means great. You becoming great by what? Knowing who you are, getting the knowledge and understanding. And to become, when we got males, we just gave you three aspects. The virtue we just says male and female, but we just gave the three aspects of the males. Segment, Bas Ra. What the hell? You ready for this? Are you ready for this? See, this is when people freak out, okay? What is this? What the hell? It got three heads, three different heads. It got wings. It got a penis. This is the fun part for me. Now I can teach. All right. Segment Bas Ra is the same as Amun Ra Ptah from the female perspective. And they have to give you a concept to show you. Again, I'm going to break it down for you, but You look at that without no explanation. You say, what the what? If you see a guy in the yoga position put his penis in his mouth, that ain't gonna go over well without an explanation. All right. This is fun for me. I'm having fun. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. This is what I call teaching. I'm breaking it down. Hopefully you can understand it. Let's go. She, okay, the all-encompassing goddess. If there's a male, you got to have female. All Amun have Mut, Ra has WRIGHT, and Ptah has Sekhmet. Sekhmet is the first one of the gods. She's the lion-headed gods, okay? Then you got Bas, then you got Ra, okay? The all-encompassing goddess from the female side. Haru got Het Haru. That's the consort, his mate, the female aspect of the spirit that's in me and you, okay? She is the union, you ready? Of the vulture, which Mut represents the ultimate mother. The vulture don't need a man to get pregnant. She flies, open up her vagina, let the air go up in there, and let nature take its course. So, and she's the ultimate mother. If her kids have nothing to eat and she can't go find nothing, she's gnaw off her own leg and feed it to them. Okay, she could take rotten meat and bring it back to life and feed to her game. Okay, she had power. That's Mut, but that's the vulture. That's what you see the hairdress. That's what it represents Mut. The lion's head is Sekhmet. That's Ptah's wife. Their son is Nefertim, okay? He's the one that sits on the throne on the lotus plant with his hand to his mouth, okay? He is another form of God. That's Haru. That's their version of Haru from the Memphite concept. Ptah, Sekhmet, and Nefertim, all right? But you got human female with wings, two plumes that represents Akim. You see the plumes, that's Aset and Nethet. And even have a male phallus. That's right, power, okay? And an important but less known from our ancient Egyptian goddesses is she is known as Sekhmet Bas Ra. Sekhmet, the power of destruction, that's who Ra sent to take care of the people who didn't worship him when he was walking amongst us as humans. And they mocked and laughed because he got old and started drooling every now and then. He catch him now. Okay, he got old. He said, okay, I'm out. So he went to heaven. Only way you can get to him is past the feather of Mayat at Judgment Day. And the Sekhmet came down to destroy all the evil people. It got so good to it, she destroyed everybody. So he had to call off that deal. But again, that's the power of Sekhmet. And Sekhmet Bas Ra is what you call a composite depiction of the goddess in all her encompassing, all her glory, okay? All her attributes of the goddess as well as the attributes of God. This is recognition that all things in creation that's created from the one comes in pairs. Creation are not absolutely, why, female or male. All of creation is a combination of male and female elements. That's why when a female with her male hormones get the best of her, she believes she's a man. No, you're not. You're female. Just your hormones pushing your cycle, pushing that way. Same thing with the woman, with the man, or the man with the woman. He's more feminine. And they find out that we got hormones. Testosterone turns into estrogen as you get older. This is why men get boobs, man boobs, the penis shrink up. Why? He loses his manhood. Okay, just got finished learning about that. That's why I got all these pills so y'all can stay erect to have sex. 67-year-old people, not that you shouldn't have sex, but that ain't a major priority. Teenagers, y'all don't need nothing to have sex. Y'all go all night long. 20s, y'all rocking. 30, it's a progressive thing. And erectile dysfunction, they call it that now. It's called nature, fellas. Nature takes away that the sex drive, all those things, if you ain't living and doing things you need to do. So now they give you supplements to keep you erect. Man, we've been erect a long time. We didn't need no pills for that. Moving on. But that pleasure of the flesh, that's the erect penis. They showed you how to supplement that. Control that. Why? Because it ain't going to be around long. When they won't be able to get up, what you going to do? Take some pills. Now the heart is stressing. Moving on. I ain't got time to play doctor for y'all nonsense. Now they got regular way. I heard one lady say, Rub these on your balls. I was like, what the hell? Baking soda peroxide. You cooking, you making crack. Moving on. So therefore, since creation is androgynous, spirit is androgynous to why? So too divinity and a human soul are also androgynous. It don't need to be male or female. Why? This understanding is reflected in the following instruction. From who? Aset to who? Her son Haru, our mothers. Horus from the Greeks. From the Asarian resurrection, she says, sex is a thing of bodies, not of souls. When I told young people that when you go to next life, afterlife, there ain't no sex, they freaks out. You won't miss it. No, trust me, it ain't that big a deal. That's a physical thing to procreate. And man's downfall when he figure out it ain't just for procreation, it's for pleasures. So that they love that. Y'all live for that. If that's what your life evolves around, I can tell you that's gonna lead to early death. Simple. Moving on. But now let's talk about the mystical creation myth. Remember, this is a myth to teach you a concept, to get you to understand who and what you are about so you can be a better you. So let's talk about, it says here, Ra Tim. From Ra came out, Tim was the worker, he's the demiurge, he one did the work. Then you got Hathor, and these are all, I hate that we gotta use the damn Greek name, but Het Haru, y'all call it Hathor, okay? That's God's left eye, okay? She takes care of business for Ra. And then you got Tahuti. He represents the mind of God. That's your brain. That's the sophisticated machinery that he gave in all his creation to what? To recognize, to know him, aka a conscious. We are spirit and conscious human beings. The spirit is of spirit and consciousness that's inside the physical body. So after that, we got to understand my girl, Maya, duality. Everything now is coming in pairs, okay? Shu, tough new. Air, moisture, pairs. Geb, new. Earth, heaven, pairs, opposite. Earth down here, heaven up there, okay? After that, from Shu, from Tefnu, from Nu and Geb, which is heaven and earth, the offspring from them is Asar, Aset, Set. And see, they got it broke down. It's really the true one is 5 children from Nu, which is Asar, Haru, Grown, You, and Full Bloom. That was Asar's brother. Now they changed the story where you become his son and you got to grow into his brother, but another story. So you got Shu, Haru, Set, number 3. 4 and 5 is the twins. That and Aset, they're twins, they come together. Now I hear people tell the story, you're not supposed to separate them. It's there for a reason. Okay? They're the Kundalini serpent. That's the twin part. They never separate from each other. Okay? And the one time they did, another story. All right, but you got Set. He combined with Neftet, his sister. Okay? He represents the ego aspect of your character. These are all part of your character. Watch this. Asar is your spirit. Haru, is you full grown when you conquer your evil uncle or yourself here on earth. Set is the ego. Aset represents wisdom, intuitive knowledge that you need. And that represents mortality. The physical body is going to die. It's nature. It's born, it will die. That's why immortality go together. Aset represents immortality. Okay, intuitive knowledge. So I just gave you a little breakdown and diagram. And from Asar and Aset, they offspring from spirit and intuitive knowledge. Offspring is Haru. That's the spirit that's in me and you. The Horus or Haru. Okay, that's the spirit that's born of what? Intuitive knowledge and physical being, meaning the flesh. That's us walking the earth. Then you got Asar and Neftet. Asar represents spirit. Neftet represents what? Mortality. When you got spirit and mortality together, you equal discernment. That's Anubis. He's the one that guides you through the afterlife. That's your discernment. And even you need that, what? Even in the afterlife. That's the concept. So again, Anubis is the offspring that they come together. He ain't in the original concept. So the diagram I just showed you above, what it does, it shows you the Sedgent, which is the Enod of creation. And they are principles that are embodied in our primordial, natural God and goddesses, some male, some female, of creation. And it's all emanated from the one supreme being. Everything comes from the one, which is Ra, or Ratem, which arose out of the new, the primeval ocean. And you got the hidden essence, and it begins to sail what he called the boat of 1,000,000 years. He set out to do this for 1,000,000 years. Think about it. Which included, now remember, 1,000,000 to us sound like a lot, right? Because we equate 1,000,000 with numbers, and we can put a number on a concept to it. Eternity don't have a number. Just want to let you know. Okay, so he purposely came here to be here for a certain point in time, in which included he brought with him the company of gods and goddesses, and on his celestial boat that emerges out of the noon with the gods and goddesses, who all symbolizes our cosmic principles of creation. I just gave them to you, okay? The Enoch, the Agdo, the word. Okay, and everybody had different philosophy. We deal with thieves. So the Neteru of the Enoch are Ra, Atum, Shu, which is air, Tef, Nut, moisture, Geb, earth, Nut, heaven, Asar, the first spirit into physical form, Aset, his sister, represents intuitive knowledge, wisdom from the self. She represents immortality, because you're going to need that even in the afterlife. So she's there forever. And you got her twin sister, that represents mortality. And then you have Set. Set represents the ego. Ego and mortality don't produce nothing. Okay? It ain't going to make nothing. That's why Set and that never had a child. And I hear some people say, no, the concept is ego can't produce. Nature can't produce without what? Spirit. And the ego is not that. That's where Asar comes in at. That's where your discernment comes from. That's why he's in charge of the afterlife. You still need to be discernible in the afterlife. So you got Hathor, which is Haru, her mate, consort. Tahuti, the brain, the mind of God. Some people spell it Tehurti. Some people spell it with the DJEHUTI. And then my favorite is Maya. She represents attributes of the Supreme Being as the very stuff or the substratum which makes up creation. She holds everything together. She's the glue. Okay. Shu, Tefnut, Geb, Nut, Asar, Aset, Set, and that all represents principles upon which creation manifests. And I just told you, Anubis is not part of the Enoch. He represents the feature of what? Intellectual discrimination, aka your discernment factor. And he is part of the Assyrian myth. The sailing of the boat signifies the beginning of motion, aka the Big Bang of creation. Motion implies that their events are occurring. In the realm of now, we know time and space, aka the Big Bang. Thus, the phenomenal universe comes into existence as a mass of moving essence. We call the abyss, we call it the noon, that we call the elements. Prior to this motion, there was primeval state of being without any form or without existence or time and space. There was nothing conceptually. But you can't make something from nothing. So there was always something. We just hadn't manifested into something. Get the concept? So above, I showed you the creation, where Ra emerges out of the noon, the primeval water, along with his company of gods and goddesses. This is the picture you see everywhere. This is the noon pushing up Ra. You see Kepri with the sun disk on the boat. This is his boat of all the things that you're going to need. His god and goddesses, aka the Paute. And when God rises out of the primeval waters, he and his continuous motion through the cosmos, that's the sun going across, and the universe. So the same barge is constantly attacked where by evil forces, dun 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 dun, headed by the serpent. You know, Apophis, we call him Apep. He represents the noon when it was doing nothing. He wanted to stay that way. So when Ra turned on the light, so to speak, upset him. So when Ra leaves the noon, come up and shine on earth, he sits and wait for Ra to come back to the west, and he try to kill him. Every night, Ra got to survive being what? Extinguished by Apophis. That's your ego trying to take over. And if the bad guy ever won, if Apophis kept Ra from shining, the world that we know it is over. That's the concept. So yeah, the bad guy can't win. We live in a society where they letting the bad guy win. And the serpent headed by Apophis. Apophis represents fetters, okay, problems of one's soul that you bring on yourself due to your ignorance. And it is the task of you, the initiate, to eradicate the obstructions of Apep from the path of your spiritual progress in your journey in life, supplementing your Satanian force, that ego, which is driving you if you're not wise, your lower nature, your lower self, and it's represented by who? Set. And you can do this how? By learning the mysteries of Anu, and they are considered to be the oldest expressions of the teachings of creation, and they are formed by a foundation for the unfoldment of the teachings of what we call mystical spirituality, which followed in the mysteries of the city of Ptah through the divinity with the name of Ptah, and the mysteries of what we call Waset or thieves, now through the divinity in the name of Amun. Every town, every city had a different god, and they all go by the same. You got the great God right here. And you see Amun, Ra, Ptah. Those are all the men gods, okay? Now, behind every man is a good goddess, a good woman. And you see, you got Mu with Amun, that's his wife. She got the vulture headdress, okay? She got the upper lower Egypt crown. And you see here, this is Riat. She's Ra's wife, okay? You see her with the sun disk and the cow horn. She represented by the cow. That's her concept. And again, behind Ra, Ptah, Sekhmet. She's the bad girl here. She got the sun disk and Uraeus. They all are bad in their own rights, and they're all attributes of the oneself. Mastering them, learning about them, that's the whole part about learning the mythological story and the teachings. I'm going to shut it down right there, but I'll be right back with some more, because I'm getting a little long. See, I say, sorry about that, but I'm in teaching mode, so I'm just reading and teaching. Let's go. I got to keep my eye on the clock. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day, so I know that my right thinkers who now had the myth of Nerberdjer Amun Ptah explained and passed away. I'll be back. It continues.